Okay, so this is just a continuation of the previous video where I implemented enum in Slint. So enum you declare like this and you're using it like this. So this works already with the interpreter, and what we haven't implemented yet is that it works with Rust. So let's do the test. Let's run the Rust tests. So for that, I run the test driver with test filter enum, so that it only compiles the enum test, because otherwise the compilation takes forever. And we see, yes, like foo not found in re-export, because for other enums it's gonna be in re-export, but not for our structure. So let's generate the foo structure in Rust. So what we need to do for that, so the code generator in Rust is in rust.rs, and struct, we have a generate struct, but we also need to have a generate enums, and those enums, they come from the used type of the LLR, and so we need just to fill that. So this is so an LLR. So LLR is the low level representation. Item 3, we have a lower, lower to item 3 struct it's gonna be too much used types. Use types, component use types. Wait, those use types, so it's the use type of the root component. So in the passes of the compiler, we have a collect struct, which reminds me that I made a commit, but I forgot to add this. So I just had to remember to add test before, so I just added it now. Anyway, when we collect the structures, we're gonna visit everything and find out which are the structure that we need to generate. And this thing actually could be collect struct and enums. But let's just go with collect struct. So everything which is exported and chain with everything which is used in properties. This. So in passes, I will rename this pass to collect struct and enum. Yes, do the rename. And then collect struct and enums. Collect struct in component, collect types in components. so both struct and enum. And if it's an expression, so we visit all the type, and if it's an expression enum, so while visiting the expression, if it's an enumeration value, what is this? Enumeration value contains an enumeration value, which is a value and an enumeration. We'll do something there. Visit named object. So we need to connect, maybe collect it, maybe collect objects. EV enumeration type enumeration EV enumeration dot clone. It's a RC after all. So we visit this object, and while visiting this object, we just called visit named object. Again, this could be renamed visit type. We're just gonna make the div bigger, but I think that's okay. Type enumeration. Enumeration, and for although this really what it does, it visits, yeah, it will so visitor en name fait un comma ty. So hash, so it just needs to build a huge map of all the used objects with their name. Interestingly, there could be duplication. That's a problem for structs as well, so let's just not consider that into account for now. But what we need to do, so he visits the named, we need to make sure that it's only for the ones which are not built in. Well, apparently this does not care. This visits also the structs that are built in. Yes. Then it sorts them and filter the one which, so I think I can just remove this because I can do a visit declared type as opposed to will call the visitor forever named struct or enum that is not built in. And how do we detect if it is not built in? If it has a name and if it has a node. So if it has a node, it means it is not built in. And in fact, we can do the same with enumeration. If it has a parsing node, it is not built in. But of course, there is no such thing yet. So we are gonna add a node here. Option syntax node enum declaration. For non-built-in enum, this is the declaration node. For non-built-ins. So in the object tree here, when we create the enumeration, we also need to create it with a node, some n. So now there's a bunch, of course, of none. So those are for the built-in enums. So no nodes. Yes, that's where we were. Okay. What's that? Variable name is unused. Sort struct. So we already checked that it has a name, so this is not required, and this is going to be sort. So this thing sorts to struct the types in the way they are used but that's fine. We don't need. But it now sorts all the tags. So sort tags, because it also sorts the enums. So now this collects struct and enums. Right, let's just run the interpreter again, the interpreter test again, just to check that it still passes. Okay, it still passes. And now let's run the Rust test with the enum filter. It still need to fail. It will still fail, obviously, because we haven't done anything. We just now created something in a. So we just now generate struct use type borrow struct. Wait, or collect struct and enums. Use struct and enums. Yeah, I guess we can just rename that struct and enum. All the struct and enum used by the component and its children. Struct and enum, we're gonna change that into a match. If it says struct, we generate struct. If it's enum, name type enum. This is an enum. So it has a struct IDs. What is struct IDs? It reuses that. So I'm gonna rename that to struct and enums IDs. Yes, and then struct and enum declaration. I want to rename that to struct and enum dec. Oh, struct enum def. It's definition. Okay. Enumeration. Ident. So it's an identifier with a name. So it's a name. And generate enum. I'll just give it the en. Okay. Generate this function. Generate struct. I just want to put it just after generate struct. It's related. Import. Okay, so quotes. What do we want to have? It's gonna be derive. So enum will come up with a struct name. No, enum name. And then there will be enum values, comma separated. So derive default. Okay, we cannot really we cannot derive default for enum. It's gonna copy, clone, partial debug. Seems good. So what is this function doing? So we have an ident function for that, I think. So we just create an identifier for this, and now we want to have our enum value. Let enum value equals values iterator map, and here is I'm just gonna do ident of v. In fact, I should here. It's here that I need to change the case. Okay, enum name. Enum value. That's it. Let's see if that works. Not found. Okay, so there is some errors. So the problem is that those errors are not really. Aha! We use re-export here. Enumeration value. If value enumeration node is sum, So if it's a built-in one, we want to use this this thing, otherwise we just use this thing. And now we see that because we have 2 Pascal keys here, enumeration value 2 Pascal keys. Generate enum. So what we want to do is to do 2 Pascal keys of this. So enumeration value do we use that elsewhere? No. Import enumeration value we'll do something fun. So we need to go basically from 0 to n values len. So that's our iterator map. Let's call that value. Enumeration value of the value with the enumeration then. Let's take a RC of that enumeration. Dot clone dot to Pascal keys. RC is not in the scope. I don't use RC anymore, really. Well, can use STD. RC here. So this is the enumeration value, and I need to take the ident of this identifier of it, and I also need to do is to putting that into bracket if let and then if value equal enumeration has a default value, quote Then I want to test with the default. Otherwise, I don't know, I'm not sure if this works. Let's see. No, it doesn't. So let's just do the easy way out. Yep. Okay. Let's compile this. Yes. I wonder what is this? No such field. Maybe some Rust analyzer bug. Who knows? The enum foo is defined here. Private enum. Aha. Indeed, here we declare the structures. So we're gonna make it public. As simple as that. Blue not found for this enum. In our test, we decided that we go for a Pascal variant of it. Restart this, re-export foo again. We have another re-export. There's gonna be thousands of these things. What is creating that is like the property type. Rust primitive type for a given type, yes, for a struct, for an enum. If the node is sum else, so it's almost the same duplication as the other one, but let's call this E. But this one is for enum names and not the value. Expected option. And I think this should be it. Spoke too fast. Panic. Get test is false. So why is get test false? I guess the default didn't really work. How bad is this to read? Nah, we can go do Rust FMT. FMT. Yes, it's everything is a whole literal blee blah blue with the default being blee. where do we use blee? Here in this thing. And yeah, that's correct. So what we can do is to debug. I wonder if that's gonna work. Default. B. Foo. And this. Okay. So blee, blue. I was expecting blah. Aha, well, yeah, well, of course, we just set it to blue there. Okay. Never mind. So let's just move this before. Let's do that actually. Then the test should fail if we change this. Great, that works. Okay, so that was Rust. Do I have time to do C++? And I will do JS I will do JS later. C++. So in C++, it's almost the same. The tests are almost the same. We just copy paste this. It's just that instead of macro we have this. So cpp test cpp driver, and I will go with types. Okay, of course now it's gonna be the same kind of errors that we don't generate the enums. So the error is that foo is not a member of, and I'll do a get diff in the Rust part, and it's gonna be almost the same as to do. We're gonna just do the same changes basically because they are very similar. So in Rust rs type enumeration if enumeration node is sum, actually, yep, we just sum is just this. Okay. Later in fn generate, well, when we go for struct and enum, we're gonna change that into match. For struct we generate struct, and for enum we generate an enum. We copy paste this. It's gonna be called generate enum. We also need the file actually. Enum rc enumeration. Cannot be a keyword. We need the file, because we're gonna add stuff to it. std rc and import code. Yeah, this works. So, declaration is gonna be an enum. So I will need to define all of this. Declaration can be a struct, a function, a variable. I'm gonna add an enum to it. Enum. So this is in some CPP AST module, which basically just represents the C++ code. So enum has a name and has values, which is a bunch of string, and that's it. Oh, proc macro panics. We did something wrong in the Rust part, so I should have run all the tests actually. But I would just try to get first of test working in C++. And I need to derive display for this. Yeah, I need to derive display for this, of course. Display for enum. So this is what we're gonna store. Indent. Okay. Enum. Let's make it an enum class. It's the way to do it in C++. In modern C++. Enum class self name. We increase the indentation. Yes, this is a global. We close the braces, and in between we go for every values. And we just write that value. And a comma. So generate enum. You make a public members. No, it's the file declaration. Which is gonna be an enum. Enum name. So it's the, what is name here? I think it needs to be converted into an identifier. I ensure that if you have like a keyword or something, it is properly escaped. Members. We don't have numbers, we have values, and that's let me just quickly check the display. Yeah, we'll just print those values. So values return map. I think I can just call ident. But no, remember we want to use Pascal's case. So what we did in Rust, was to do two Pascal case. For that, cannot find the enumeration value. Let's import it. Collect. I think that should be it. No. Okay, so we try to debug. Oh, what is the error here? Let's restart the tests, and then I can see the error. Yes, so enumeration value if value the enumeration let prefix equal node is sum, then it's nothing else, it's this thing. And we add the prefix here. Stream still a failure. Apparently we need operator basic stream for this. That's because of the assert. The assert macro needs this, but let's just ignore that and say I want this. Yeah, I know it's cheating. I should probably create those operators, but no, we have it for C++. And now I wanted to fix the fact that the proc macro panics. So let's just run that over all the tests and find out why the proc macro panic with Slint private state info is not a valid identifier. I do think maybe I did something wrong in the collect struct and enum. What if I do run all the C++ tests? Yes, the same are failing. So doesn't matter. So there was we did a change there in of course we moved this. So the file that has been moved, we need to add this file. But still in there was a fix me, which if the name contains this, then it is a built-in struct. If the name contains this, so collect struct and enum, we removed this because we said that the struct so it wasn't sort types. We said that this hash insert. We add all the exported ones. I will add that back and see what happens. Type struct and sort types. I just add that back and see what happens. So what happens was that it was a built-in types, but it had a node for some reason. Oh, this is also yeah, anyway, this works. So I guess this is it. We have added structure to Slint. Now it's time to make a PR, and there is still maybe a bit of polishing to do, but most of it is done. Okay, bye.